Is it on?
Yes, it's on.
It's on. Come on, get down. It's on.
Welcome back, everybody, to A Couple of Nobodies.
Number two. The My Hippie Girlfriend episode.
We have a special guest on today's show.
Hello.
She's beautiful. If you're on
Fabulous, so
Facebook, you
creative.
can go find pictures of her. That's all the hints we're giving you.
Tiffany, welcome to the show. Yeah, we should throw names out.
No names.
Yes, names, because I was referred to as the one guy. I'm Matt, everybody.
Okay.
Co-founder of A Couple of Nobodies.
I'm Chuck. Other co-founder.
Other co-founder. Anywho.
Sub-co-founder.
Yeah.
Anyways, no, I just thought of something. If this is totally random from what we were talking about earlier, but if like Hillary or a Democrat gets elected next, like say they're a two-termer or maybe two one-termers, however you want to figure it, chances are they'll get to replace at least a couple of Supreme Court justices, like including some conservative ones. Just because some of them are getting a little old and or might not be in the best of health, so chances are they can.
Have they announced,
No,
like, any of them that they're going to step down?
no, but another 8 years.
Oh, wow.
Some of them are like in
Okay,
their 60s.
fantastic.
Like
We're just-
70, 80.
We were sitting here looking for things to argue about. Wow, you just threw one in my lap. The
What?
Supreme Court and why judges are elected for life.
Oh,
Oh, Jesus.
it's
It was originally, here's my understanding of it. It was originally set up so that these guys don't have to worry about, the judgments that they have to give out. You know what I mean? If you're elected for life or appointed for life, you can, dispense justice and your interpretation of the Constitution without regard to, the security of your seat. You know what I mean? So you could do it impartially
Sort of.
and all that shit. But that kind of mentality has gone by the wayside now that these judges are declaring whether or not they're like Democrat or Republican leaning. You know what I mean?
well, they still do the dance.
They don't, though. I mean, it's really obvious when they're
Well,
appointed by this
'cause it's a-
bipartisan
No, they're
system
appointed,
that we have set up here, where it's Democrat or Republican. The president
They're-
appoints.
appointed by a president, and they're approved by the Senate. Whoever happens to control the Senate, whoever's in the Senate. The Judiciary Committee, though, like debates them and can block them and hold them up.
Right, but
really,
they'll
the
have
president can get it
leanings.
through.
You know what I mean?
Well, now that Obama used the, and Bush did some of it too.
No
President-
matter if
I'll
you
say
have
this.
like a Senate that's against your side that needs to pass them on through,
Uh-huh.
they go through a screening process. They have a bunch of candidates that
Yeah.
like a president. Then when a seat's becoming
Well,
open,
you float
the
names-
president has a whole group
Yes.
of people that sit around like
You-
judging. We have
Yes.
this Supreme Court
And
judge
you
from this
float-
state and this state and this state.
You float the names to the Senate to see if people are going to be upset about them or see if, anyone is like a no-go. If you got like two people that would support them, you're like, oh, let's not even fucking fight that battle. You find someone who's pretty popular and try to bring their numbers up if they're not up to where you want them, But you also have to try and pick a judge that you think is going to be is going to stick to your side of things and rulings.
I don't
And-
even know if they even do that.
Well, Bush,
what if they start horse
Bush,
trading?
Bush
Like-
famously got in trouble with this. It's is it Kennedy? Who did he appointed a Kennedy? One of the I want to say it's Kennedy, but that's only because the only other names I can think of are Clarence Thomas and like Elena Kagan and Sonia Sotomayor for whatever reason. I'm thinking very demographically, I guess, but now I forget my point. Oh well, that's great. Damn text message threw me off. The sound of it.
All it takes is.
You were listening, weren't you? What was I talking about?
My mom.
Oh, you were going off on some little tangent about Kennedy, I believe.
Oh, that's right. Bush got caught because not got caught, but got disappointed. Appointed someone that he thought was going to be more steadfastly conservative, and he ended up being kind of liberal, certainly moderate. So you got to think about that too when you're appointing him. and thinking about them.
All right, but I'm still sitting here looking at it as
You don't like the
I don't
lifelong
like
appointment?
the lifelong
Well,
appointment.
the idea, I think, is more so, you got to remember the founders, although they were, like, by definition, radicals, they did go to war for their ideals and overthrow their tentatively ruling, foreign, very farly removed ruling government. But they were still, like, very interested in conserving society. And they thought a lot about it. And appointing judges for life allows you to have the laws, the meaning of the law, the interpretation of the law has, like, a steadiness then. And that gives society a calmness and a base to build off of, But, it doesn't always work out that way, but we've done good
Dude,
by it.
I'm sitting here looking
worked
at the
for us.
Supreme Court website here. And they are actually divvied up into red and blue.
Yeah.
Unless I'm reading this wrong here, which I probably am.
My mom just sent me this.
No, it might be, man. But yeah, if a Democrat gets elected, the court could shift heavily because Obama got a chance to pick couple of young appointees to ensure that the court will at least remain balanced. for the
Right now, it's
foreseeable
like a
future.
4-5 split.
Yeah, which is about like where it was, I think,
Yeah, I believe it's like 5 Democrats.
with Kennedy,
With 4
if I'm
Republicans.
thinking of the right name.
But, okay.
Playing the flip-flopper, the guy that Bush Senior.
Is
Bush
this
Senior
any way
appointed him.
to dispense and to interpret
The
justice?
elder Bush?
Okay, when you're involved, these people vote a particular way every time. You know what I mean? It's like clockwork. It's almost a rubber stamp.
What,
These people are going to vote this way on particular issues.
No, actually, you might be surprised if you read their what do they call the little rulings that the judges write or whatever. Anyways,
I mean,
they write out their
I can
reasoning.
already hear the argument
unlike
out there right now,
Kennedy-
like Obamacare. Like you actually had a 5-4 Republican.
Yeah, well, the
judge,
funny thing is, Kennedy they thought was going to go with the Democrats and tip the court favoring the Democrats until people heard some of his lines of questioning, and they're like, "Oh shit, maybe he's going to go right." And everyone thought the Republicans were going to win that ruling, but the Chief Justice, who was appointed by George W. Bush, God, I can't believe I just forgot his name. John Roberts. Famously flubbed swearing in Obama. God, that's so ridiculous and horrible. What a douche. And then he gave this ridiculous ruling that ruled, although the government had argued that it wasn't a tax, that it was in fact a tax, and because it was a tax, Obamacare was legal. If it were a penalty trying to force you to do something, it would have been unconstitutional.
Mm-hmm.
But because there was like a non-enforced command that was then taxed or whatever his bizarre ruling was. But anyways, no one expected it.
I don't know.
So the court can be
see-
quirky like that. You can't always say like, "Oh, it's Republican is going to go this way," like because the judges are weird, man. They really do
Yeah, and
respect
this is
the law
this
and
is,
like
they vote a certain way most of the time.
mhm.
In a few certain circumstances, like with Obamacare, they vote a different way.
right.
There's that swing vote, the Supreme Justice. But like the other ones,
Well,
they are as
Kennedy
set
is
in their
normally
ways.
the swing vote, and the Roberts usually votes pretty conservatively. That's what was so fucked up about it.
Well,
That and it was just a bizarre ruling. But anyways, I'm not a lawyer. Ooh, we
Right,
should have had my cousin on. He's a lawyer.
I
That
don't know
would've been
nearly enough
good.
about it, but from the
I follow the
an ignorant
politics of it,
standpoint,
which
looking
means
at
I know even
from the
less.
average American standpoint, I mean, how much does the average American know about the the law?
They don't
Two,
even know there are 9 members of the Supreme Court, I would bet. How many of you out there knew that? Answer honestly in the comments.
honestly.
Not to dog you. Come on. Why would you know?
Oh Jesus!
Uh,
But when you look at it, this is probably a good representation of how most people view our government. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, I think that's hopefully true. I don't know. I think we're probably skewed.
A bit. But our ignorance to the actual inner workings,
Yeah, like the
you
nitty
know,
gritty, I suppose. The wonky. We're not wonky. We're
well,
sort
no,
of in our
I'm
own
talking about
wheelhouses, but
you go down the average, the average street in any city in this country, and you show they could not pick the Secretary of Defense out of a lineup. You know what I mean? They are that out of touch with the inner workings
knew
of
a girl,
the government. You know what I mean?
and I'm sorry, Amy. I
No
won't
names,
say your last
no
name.
names.
She's not going to listen. But straight A's, straight A's. Could not tell me the name of the sitting vice president. Couldn't tell me who fought in the Civil War. Like, not even directions, north and south. She didn't even know that. She couldn't tell me who was the first
How old
country
was she
to
when you-
land on the moon. We were in, like, maybe. We were in middle school. Yeah. Like 8th grade. It's like the 8th grade trip or something.
But go to your average bus
But still, you
stop
should at
and
least
ask these
know-
questions, man.
And
Jay
straight A
Leno
middle
did it.
school.
Jay
kid
Leno
should
did it
know the
on the
vice
Tonight
president
Show
is.
and was walking around the streets of Los Angeles
yeah,
with a
and
camera
yeah.
crew and was sticking it in people's faces
Yeah,
in like
he's
the
been
mall.
doing that for years. I'm sure
You
he's
know.
not the first to invent
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
but
no,
jaywalking.
It's been done many, many times. But you know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. Where you walk down the street and the average person, they were showing them pictures. And I remember the,
Well, yeah,
the
but they
particular
edit
example I was looking at. Yeah, obviously, but still. Yeah, you are getting the worst
They do
of the
get a
worst.
lot
It's like
of
when
them,
they
but,
take
yeah.
a camera crew to a protest rally. You know what I mean? You're getting the
Yeah, they
worst
show
of the
the
worst.
one guy with a Confederate flag or like a voodoo Dr. Obama sign at the. But don't get me wrong, they are there. You'll see one.
I mean, but it's not that skewed. I mean, like I was about to say, go to your average bus stop
Yeah.
and start pulling out pictures of Joe Biden.
Although
You know
your
what I
average
mean?
bus stop isn't a good cross section of the country either. That's another extreme. You have to like walk up to your average
I would say
stoplight.
I would say
Just walk up to your average car sitting at a stoplight. That's
Okay.
a good.
I suppose depends on where you are too.
The average person.
But
driving?
what you're trying to tell? You know how many like
saying the
ignorant
average
people
person doesn't ride the
that
bus
declare themselves
unless you're-
Republicans, but leech off of social welfare. Not to say everybody
Oh yeah,
tried the buses.
keep the government out of my Medicare, whatever that famous Tea Party sign was. I'm a Tea Partier, folks. So sorry, I don't mean to be ragging on you, but those were funny signs. And there's some ridiculous signs. I'm thinking of you, guy, in
I
the
still can't
sleeveless
believe you-
jean jacket with a Confederate flag patch. I can't remember what sign he had, but pretty sure it was offensive.
Oh, that's why I think you would like Carlin again, man. He has his one. He does the Common Sense show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, that's separate from his like intense
yeah,
history
the
lectures.
hardcore history one.
So the hardcore is like his. Sorry, folks. This is a podcast he was telling me about. You should listen to it. It's like a. Well, explain it.
Dan Carlin's hardcore history, and he also has another one, Common Sense. Ex-journalist, started doing podcasts about 6 years ago or so. Don't quote me on that, but fantastic. If you are a buff of history at all, this guy has an amazing ability. Like I said, he's a journalist, not a historian, but he has an amazing ability to dig into topics. He'll find all the sources that are available on any particular subject. He spans from World War II to the Mongols, and apparently his favorite era of history is like
Blah blah blah.
BC
Explain
shit.
the difference
Anyway.
between the two podcasts.
Anyway, yeah, the one is a hardcore history thing, where it's history shit,
Yeah, you
and
told
the
me
other
about
one,
that.
and Common Sense, is more of his political ranting, which was more like his original radio program that he was running out of.
Oh, nice.
Like
Like a
Eugene
current
or
events
Seattle.
kind of.
Yeah, it's generally about like once a month, and it'll be like one thing in particular.
damn,
Like
once a
he's
month,
most of
I
the
guess.
time, I suppose, working on the hardcore history thing because
Yeah,
he
it
takes
must be.
months to put these things together. Like
Yeah.
he'll do like a 3-hour podcast on one particular topic.
Yeah.
And like he really gets into it and puts 3 months worth of work and research into it. And then, in between that, something will happen in the
Man.
news like once a month, and he'll just be like, I gotta say something
Right,
about
I
this.
can research this or something. Oh yeah, a current event type thing in the
No, but it is one of his Common Sense
Good.
ones where he was talking about journalism and how skewed it is when, like, if they go and do coverage of a protest rally,
Uh huh.
that you're not getting an accurate picture.
Right.
Because news agencies are all about narratives.
Someone has
Apparently,
to
this
pick.
way he
Yes.
was explaining
Yeah,
it.
oh,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? And they're developing a story, and to make it sell better. I mean, it's all it is. It's sales. They want
Selling the
they
story.
want you to watch their program. How do we make this more like American Gladiators or some shit? You know what I mean? Something that people
So you
won't just
put-
tune out of. I mean, if you show the actual Tea Party rally, there's a lot of normal fucking people out there. Where they're just
bunch of grandparents, man.
grandparents, people of all walks of life. And this is the same as the Occupy Wall Street rallies as well. It's a really amazing cross section of people. But the whole idea of the media is,
But
in order to form that narrative, they get up in the face of the guy with the gun slung over his shoulder, with the really racist sign.
Well, to be fair, there
what I mean?
was-
or they get up in the hippies' face, at the
Right.
the Occupy Wall Street.
Right,
and they
right,
want to
right.
show you the extreme people in there,
Right,
so
and
that
they
it sells
interviewed-
better. And they don't want you to at least the theory is they want to show you how fucking crazy this particular thing is.
Right.
So that you don't want to become a part of it.
And they interviewed the hands off, keep the government out of my Medicare Tea Party lady, and they find the craziest looking hillbilliest,
The psycho with
less
a fucking
tooth
rifle
havingest-
slung over his shoulder, and they're like, black people ruined this economy. You know what I mean? As their protest sign.
Yeah.
That's the guy they want to put up on the news and listen to his retarded, rant about why I'm here.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
We want to take our country back.
Exactly. It's going to turn you off to that
Like,
particular
damn
movement.
it, no, the country back is in to the individual, letting people have more control than the government, which is what. Oh well. Anyways. What? Why were we talking about framing the narratives of this? I was gonna say though that
We took
Occupy
off and talked
was
about Tea
younger
Partiers
than
and,
Tea Partiers.
Right.
Were older.
Anyway, where were we before that?
Supreme Court.
Oh, Jesus. I
And
think that's about done here because I don't think either of us are knowledgeable enough to really get into, why the Supreme Court is the way it is and how it's probably not going to change.
Well, we know the basic ideas about it. You can have an opinion on it. People
My
might find
opinion.
interesting.
Well, I mean, all right. How would we change it?
I don't know.
Like, what would be an acceptable system?
could
Where
add
judges
judges
have
to
to
it,
have to campaign.
In the past, we've
That
just
doesn't sound
added
good.
judges to it. I think the Supreme Court is fine. It has been disappointing at times, and it's made some good landmark rulings at times. It's pretty neutral. It's a weird little institution, and it's concerned with itself. Like, it's weird. I think Roberts ruled against what he felt the law said as a judge in order to maintain the court's place.
Is there any way
in
we could have like an
society.
impartial panel that was judging the judges?
No,
Where
because
like, you
someone's
could see
someone
like,
appoints them. No, I would rather us know. I would rather us kind of have an idea of what you're getting, so that way you can vote for somebody and be relatively assured that he will pick somebody.
again, like
that's
the
in
United
alignment
States,
with
the
your-
people of the United States. Yeah, I mean, technically, any person that walking around out there could have a very serious thing in their life end up in the laps of these people that you don't elect.
Right, but we get to elect. We live in a representative republic, so we elect the people who choose the people.
Yeah, and I'm
Basic,
sorry to
that's the
throw it
basic way
out
to
there,
break
but I
it
don't
down.
think anybody's ever like 100% satisfied with even the people that they vote for, let alone the people that
Well-
they don't vote for.
Right. But that's because there aren't a lot of people who want to go do that, man. And it's hard. We make it really hard to do it because it's expensive. That's probably the biggest problem. We need term limits, and I think just fucking total unrestrained donation ability, but it has to be directly to the candidate, and it has to be reported to the internet. Like no outside group, not even like the Republican Party can run a campaign. Like only the people running are allowed to have a message out, which I should probably walk back because when you think about it, like maybe other people should be able to say how they feel about the other campaigner, but I think maybe we should, in the
Are
interest
you
of
getting into the campaign finance reform kind of neck of the woods?
only because it's a part of how to craft a campaign, and I think if we made it so that it's just these two people who are running get to talk, everyone else shut up, listen to these two people, you know.
Well, if I had my way, you know what I mean, it would be kind of.
But I guess you can't do that.
I would
'Cause
open source
podcasting
I would-
now. People could podcast.
Exactly.
And shit.
I would.
But you have
I would
to go
like to
and
have
find it,
my
like commercials and ads that are
one
from
website,
random groups.
one website where all the politicians go. You
Election.com.
know? No, not where you
Gov.
go and you post your podcast, or you have them on. You know, this is where all the political podcasts happen,
Oh,
and you have
right.
an open forum discussion with these
Yes.
people, and you actually get to hear what they're about.
You mean like
You know what I mean?
Kickstarter?
That's not. No.
Well, you could though. You could get money. You could do a Kickstart campaign if all it took was for one
I think
really
it should
rich
be publicly
guy to
funded.
hear your.
I don't think that this kind of a
It
thing.
is.
I
It
want to get
can be.
rid of money in politics. The only way you do that
it
kind
was,
of thing is to have
it was
publicly funded.
Here's the thing: it was until Barack Obama. He was the first candidate since the creation of the public financing for the presidential election, the general election, to not use it.
That's too small. I know. Ooh, the presidency.
Well, they would all
the president is a small piece of our government.
Wait, what are you talking about?
I'm talking about congressmen. I'm talking about judges. I'm talking about councilmen. I'm talking about everybody.
Skip.
This is where you go to stand on
You're
your
nodding
soapbox.
in on the mic. Yeah. Okay.
But you actually, instead of them spending billions of dollars on TV advertising, you know what I mean?
Right.
They get to go onto this website, and this is where you get to. Everybody gets to go. This is where you go, and it's completely unbiased because you're getting it from the horse's mouth. You know what I mean? And it's unscripted.
Right.
Where these people, you sit down and you talk to guys
You're
like
gonna
us,
drive down,
or people like Rush
You would
Limbaugh or
either-
Tom
no, the
Ashbrook.
problem-
They cross lines and they talk to everybody, and this is where you go to get your information. This is where candidates go to get their message out.
The problem is you would limit people's ability to get to the information, you know? Like there's just there's one website, and you would either have a lot fewer people voting, or you'd have people more easily manipulated because they would just see somebody else
Well, that's something.
else
Something
saying-
else that would have to happen at the same time would be that we would need to promote the active involvement in our political system in our
Right.
society. I mean, the only way that people actually get involved is because you interrupt them with commercials.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well,
where it's
yeah,
mostly
yeah,
propaganda. You
Oh,
know,
no, it's-
whoever's paying more. Most of the time, it's
no,
not
it's
even the
totally
candidate that's putting that. It's a
propaganda.
super PAC that
Right.
ends up putting this, bullshit
No need to
propagandist
shout.
message. I'm sorry. Campaign finance reform and this whole
You gotta
ridiculous
remember
system.
that
This is the heart of the problem.
microphone is like an ear. It's like you're shouting into people's.
I am spiking a little bit there. I'm sorry, everybody. My bad.
I got your back, people. All 5 people listening. Hi, Mom. Hi, Tiffany's mom and her friends.
Hey, Dad.
What was I going to say?
Anyway.
Oh, campaign finance. Like the problem with that kind of thing is you can't stop Bill O'Reilly from talking about it, because then you're like saying you can't talk about the presidential election on TV, you know? Like, so I don't think we can.
No, you can still have these things, but it's all commercials. Like the billions of dollars that end up going, it's all for commercials and paying for campaigners,
Right.
and door knockers and all the bullshit and
So,
signs
hang
and
on,
all this
hang
shit.
on,
It's
blah, blah, blah.
expensive.
Enough examples.
Well, not everybody knows. They're like, what about an election?
I've
Costs
never
$6 billion.
I've never lived in America. You mean we get shit from
Some people live with their fucking heads in a hole in the
people
ground,
know
man.
about all the annoying shit that they do for
The people that are
campaigns.
listening to this probably. All right.
You can't live in Ohio. Okay, maybe there are people who don't live in Ohio, but Ohioans know about the campaign shit. They can flow
Well, yeah, swing state, man.
into,
The swing state
into
curse.
and out of every orifice in a voter's body.
I heard this during the last election where all these people that are in solid states, they were like,
Don't get any
they're
shit.
annoyed, because you guys never come here to talk to us. You're always in the swing states.
Yeah, if they only
Please
knew.
take them back.
Yes, please go to South
I
Dakota.
am so sick every 4 years just being bombarded by bullshit.
Uh-huh. It's pretty oppressive, man.
Every 2
No.
years being bombarded by local bullshit.
But like, are you saying you would want to outlaw the candidate's ability to buy the ads, or are you just trying to counteract that with the website?
Counteract it.
Okay.
To
All
where
right, I can get behind that.
you don't need
So
the campaign's bullshit anymore because it's all propaganda anyway.
Well,
we don't need it now.
You'd still need to do it to win. let's be honest, because people are lazy and most of them are just going to watch TV and pick up what they see.
Yeah.
Most people.
That's what
how
I'm
many
talking
of
about.
them go and
At
vote?
the same time,
Who
it has
knows?
to be. At the same time, a lot of pieces have to move at the same time. That's why real change is real hard to get because so many things have to change at once, and that's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, or if you're really clever, you can figure out that one pivotal point that needs to change, and that will spur change in the other
one
places.
thing, like one dam that's holding back.
And that's
the
really
flood
the
or
point of this podcast, man. And podcasting in general.
To break
because I'm
dams.
tired of the TV, the media. Like this is not a useful way to get good information.
No, not good I mean, yeah, not good information.
And you're not like you're getting very good information off of this
You
either.
could
But
get
at least we're
some.
broadening
You
the
could be
conversation.
you could have better ads or whatever. But that's why I think not letting. See, this is weird because as the Supreme Court has ruled, technically, what I'm about to propose would be limiting people's political speech. But I feel like maybe that's okay if we're talking about an election, but because we can't stop Bill O'Reilly. We can't stop people who have TV shows from talking about the presidential election. This is the most
I don't wanna
important thing
stop 'em.
ever. I know. I'm just thinking out loud. I'm like, what I would do is what I said. All contributions have to go to the candidates, but then they're the only ones that are allowed to buy ads. But
They don't pay to go on Bill O'Reilly or Jon
I
Stewart.
know.
They
but-
just do
but
it
if-
because it's good
if-
PR.
I know, but then don't you see how Bill O'Reilly has more political speech than the average person? Like, but I guess a person with money now does. Because right now,
They control the narrative.
You're spending towards political ads and stuff that counts because the political ad is your political speech, and technically they can't outlaw your ad, which I think we would all agree makes sense. Yeah, you can't outlaw
And
political
technically,
ads.
whoever's got the
but
deeper
the problem
pockets,
with that, yes. So ads equal money. So money equals
super
political
PACs
speech.
annoy me.
So that's how liberals or Democrats. Sorry, I hate to throw liberals out. That's why some Democrats will throw out the attack that money isn't political speech. It's like you're right, it isn't. But a political ad is political speech, and those aren't free. They don't grow on trees.
And this is why
You
I don't think
spend
it'll ever
money
go
to
away
make 'em.
because they're protected by that First Amendment bullshit.
Yes. Well, if the First Amendment isn't bullshit. It's
It
very
is
this is the thing that
I love the First Amendment.
Politicians on both sides like to boil things down, and you can't, especially not like inherent rights and freedoms, because there's a
Let
downside.
me just jump in
to
here real
every
quick. I don't
decision.
want everybody to get the wrong impression. I love the First Amendment.
Right? Yeah. Yes.
First Amendment bullshit.
We're all just a little sick of political ads here in
Yeah,
Ohio.
no, you should shut the fuck up.
Well, and I think at least maybe for the presidency we could say this is. Oh shit.
God damn it.
I just read
My
something
bad.
really funny.
Okay.
Wyoming's Grand Tetons Mountain Range literally means big tits.
Yeah, Tetons.
Grand Tetons.
Right? Isn't that how you say
Ladies
it?
and gentlemen, that has been your fun fact for the day.
What's that off of? What website is that? Freakfact.
I'm
Com or something?
actually looking up strange sex facts.
Oh, something tells me that might be. Although I don't know, it's probably a bunch of like
finally making your
bunch
appearance
of
on the
old.
Oh, look at this.
Haggard
the,
West,
The
you know.
smallest erect ding dong on record was just 1 centimeter long.
No,
So no matter how
my
bad
God.
That poor
everything gets
Chinaman.
Is that on a
close,
human? Oh,
I'm sorry.
racist.
You can't.
Just so
Make
you know,
openings
he
like
meant
that.
he meant nationally Chinese. He's not talking about any of the ethnic subgroups within China. So technically, it's not racist. It's talking about a nation.
We kid here, people.
nation state.
Relax.
I bet you I can find statistics on that.
Does it say that's a human thing? Because I think that's got to be impossible.
Yeah, they're talking about like apes
This is,
or something.
no, this is people.
Bug? How is that?
Like
you
gorillas.
Said, you
Yeah,
said
gorillas
one,
have, like, really
wait,
tiny
how long
joints.
was it? 1 centimeter?
That's pretty damn small.
1
That's-
centimeter long.
There's
yeah.
no way.
That's
Erect?
useless.
Here, look.
Erect
It's
or
number 2.
flaccid?
No, erect.
Oh my God.
Standing up.
How
Maybe he was like morbidly
The
obese,
hell
and that was all that was
did
sticking
this
out.
change?
He's got to be morbidly obese, and that's all that's like sticking out or something.
Oh my god. This is what I talk about when we
Yeah,
we get off into
sorry
the
everyone. Thanks, Tiffany. Anyways, back to political funding. The fun topic. Yay!
No, you're right. We should talk about penises, especially
Maybe
one
no.
centimeter
We're
penises.
smart
I'm not really worried about those
people.
1 centimeters. The physics of that actually producing any offspring are literally impossible.
Maybe he's got like a jet stream coming out of
Artificial
there.
No, evolution.
It's like a it's
Darwin
like a
was
nozzle,
right.
you know?
The strong will survive. This particular genetic strand was not meant to keep going.
Well, that's only until our culture got advanced enough to like take care of people. Now we keep that shit.
1 centimeter, you can't even jerk off.
Yeah, but he could donate sperm, and they could artificially
Again,
inseminate.
how the hell is he supposed to ejaculate without
Now
stimulation?
the real
How do you
question is
stimulate
who's
1
gonna
centimeter?
marry him. I would imagine a stiff breeze would stimulate a 1 centimeter fetus.
Sitting on the dryer.
Every time you step, my underwear keeps rubbing. Sorry everyone. Sorry mom. Sorry Tiffany's mom.
Yeah, this I don't know. This podcast is not for like the faint of heart.
I think we've cleaned up our language a little bit on this
A
one.
little bit. I feel I've been holding it back. We say fuck a lot. I'm sorry. It's part of this modern youthful vernacular. We just keep throwing it in
We're
there.
pretty.
Like I didn't even
terrible.
realize I was doing it for a long time, but somebody had to mention it to me. Dude, you say you just throw fucking in there like.
Uh-huh.
I was talking about this thing, fucking.
Yeah,
you know,
fucking,
like I just work it in there naturally into conversations.
We probably just said it 20 times.
Who's,
Just
Right?
talking about
Didn't
saying
even
it.
realize I did.
who's Ann Landers?
Somebody out there is yelling at the computer screen. Ann Landers. How do
Says-
you not know who Ann Landers
It
is?
says
I'm 28.
53% of the.
Yeah, that's another piece too.
That's how. I just
Yeah.
turned 28.
Anybody
Yay, me,
that's
everybody.
like trying to take this way too seriously or being overly critical of what we're talking about right here, we're 28.
Yeah.
We know jack shit.
We're a bunch of silly nannies. Silly Nancy's.
Oh man, no, it hit me
Whatever.
listening to these podcasts, man. Like this past year, just to give you a little background, you know, we didn't get into this in our first technical inaugural podcast.
Yeah.
We
We
put
started
out anyway.
recording us at parties on our phones.
Yeah. I mean, I have.
We should dig some of
quite
those
a
out.
few, you know, technically in the can, but are just not post worthy.
Yeah. We should dig out some of those and like.
We're
take
getting better
random
though.
Comments.
It's a process.
We
It's
should
growing.
play like defend your drunken comment and like dig one
Defend
out
your
from each
drunken
other.
comment.
Be like,
That'll be short. I can't defend that at all.
I was wrong. I'm sorry. I was drunk. I apologize.
Damn you, Yingling.
I do not feel that strongly about box turtles. And I would not kick one into a telephone
I like
pole.
toidles.
I like turtles. I wonder how old that kid is. I hope he gets
Oh,
a
man.
turtle shirt every year for Christmas.
Dude,
Turtles PJs or something.
I guarantee he gets laid because of that.
I'm looking up
Some turtle
bloody
freak who makes
political
him wear like a
facts
green
now.
spandex suit.
Hey, they're out there, man.
Do you ever watch that Taboo show on TLC or wherever?
Nope.
I just saw one a while ago where their thing, this couple, was those full body spandex suits. Got them revved up.
That's mildly disturbing.
Mm-hmm. Hey, what time? How much time are we on this thing?
Oh, just a half hour, man. Cramming it in.
Can we think one more topic, or should we just? I feel like we're slowing down here.
This is funny.
I mean, it's just kind of naturally evolving. on its
Topless-
own. Like all podcasts do.
Uh huh.
Or all podcasts should. I should say.
This is either time for a new topic, or an ending.
Cut it down to size because everybody bitches about the time
Uh-huh.
length.
Yeah, this should be a quick one.
Yeah, I feel bad because, you know, I put out a post on the first one. Like, I'm not going to cut it down for time's sake. You know, just turn it off when you. But apparently, it's a big issue.
Yeah, it's just intimidating, that big ticker, man.
Oh my God! It's
I've done
so
that too.
long.
I've done that with podcasts. I'm like, I'll give these guys a chance.
Yeah.
Oh man, get to the point.
Right.
Or
And then
whatever.
they take me on a 3-hour nowhere mission, and I never listen to them again.
Or when it just takes too long, like, to get into it, or yeah. Well, we covered the Supreme Court. And
Yep.
something
As
else.
usual, we've come
Oh,
to
campaign
zero
financing. We we can squeeze out a little more about campaign finance. No,
Oh.
I mean, I guess I already did my spiel. I think the candidate
I
should
mean-
just get. Who should be the only one who can.
You really don't have a spiel.
buy
No,
ad
you have
buys.
no other alternative to the real current position that we're in right now.
No, this is different because this is no 501c or whatever those are called. There's no ambiguity. The candidate can't say, "Well, I'm not putting out those ads." I can't, by law, I'm not allowed to communicate with those people. Like, that's bullshit. That's like, they put that in there so they could play that game. So this way, if there's a negative ad, it's on the hands of the candidate. Only the candidate can buy ad time, I guess.
Oh,
just make that part of the law.
Really? A Tea Party?
You just have to
a
curtail
Tea Partier
speech that way.
actually endorsing regulation.
No, we
That's gotta be
agree with
unheard of.
regulation. It's, we don't
I
want
just
anarchy.
hate the taxes.
No, we know that there have to be taxes. We just think that it's not like the government, it gets less money every year. They get more, except for during recessions. They lose, but I think we're already have been earning more. Like, we set a record in taxes again. Like, we're earning more than we've ever earned before again. The government is back on its feet, has been for a while. They got plenty of fucking money, more than they've ever had. Ever.
I
And
think
it's
that's
still
kind of
not
perpetual year after year.
For the most part, it is, yes.
Just on the basis of the money structure and the way the Fed pumps out money and the way the United States government
Well, and because
borrows
of
money.
our economy is still
We always
growing.
have more money
And
than we've ever had before.
Yes, and well, not necessarily. Sometimes there's a short dip back. Pretty
No,
much
just based
every
on
year.
the entire system of interest,
No.
we always have to have more money than we had before.
No,
Yeah.
no.
We have to pay back
No,
interest.
more money, yes. I'm talking about tax revenues. The government's money.
Okay.
See what I'm saying? Yeah. That's not
All
always.
right, yeah.
For the
I
most
was talking
part-
about the gigantic
Yeah,
money
no,
pool.
not the money
Yeah.
supply. No,
Yeah.
the money that the government has to spend, the tax revenue. For the most part, it does grow every single year. But when there's a recession, if people get
Right, right,
fired,
right.
they don't have,
Government
they can't
funds
pay
anyway. Yeah,
taxes,
yeah, I
blah
get
blah
what
blah.
you're
But anyways, I feel like what the hell? Why were we talking about government funding? Oh, Tea Party taxes, blah blah blah.
Right,
Anyways,
right.
if the candidate had to spend it, you get a lot of the chatter out of the way, you get a lot of the misdirection out of the way, you get a lot of the you'd put responsibility for what was said.
The super PACs
on
would
the
just
people.
funnel their money directly to the candidate.
Right, and that's fine because the super PACs are bad because they're ambiguous and they can say they're one group. They can have a name that would make you think they're one group, and put out an ad that would make, like, they could have Tea Party
Americans for
lovers,
Prosperity.
or it could be
Gotta
like
love
Tea
'em.
Party lovers, and they could make some racist ad, that makes the Tea
Bastards,
Party look
sons of
bad or
bitches.
something, Like, I don't think anyone has done that yet, but they've ran that Libertarian candidate in Virginia was funded by an Obama bundler. Like, he was a fake Libertarian.
I hate that there's dark money in any campaign. The concept of dark funds that you don't get to know who
Right.
these people are
That's
that
why-
are backing these candidates, and then they go and pass legislation later on in their
That's why I think
in their term.
it should be a public account. Like, everybody who contributes to it should be instantly online. You can see, and only the candidate can spend that money, and all that's on record too. So you can see where the money's
But
going.
all right,
who's
here's
going from.
my
And
big
that
question
way,
with it.
that's good. Not only sorry I had to cut you off, but I got to finish this point. It's not only
cut you.
good because it's because everyone can see. I can't think of that fucking term. Anyways, everyone can see what's happening. It's transparent. That's the word.
That's the
But
word.
also it allows for like a startup candidate. Right now, you pretty much have to be a millionaire to run for president.
Mm-hmm.
But if anyone could give you $50 million, then
nobody,
you could
for
just
instance?
you could just be some guy who gets his stuff out there on the internet or whatever, or is a local politician or something, who somehow is newsworthy or something like that, but gets the ear of a billionaire. Then that billionaire can just write him a big ass check, and all of a sudden you've got this guy with some great ideas who can at least buy some ad time and
Right.
get the ideas out there, And you can kind of do that because you could start a 401c and get people to contribute and
I
start
mean,
ads,
just
but
the
you couldn't
nature of
run
the
for anything.
bipartisan system kind of locks that down to you have to be a one party or the other because all the big money backers stand behind one or the other because they're
Right.
playing the odds.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
I
and
mean, if
if
you look
you're-
at third party candidates, I mean, the most successful third party candidate,
Right.
Ron Paul, he only got what 17%.
Well, but
of the vote?
Wall Street, sometimes it's just whoever's clearly going to win. Like Wall Street just will give to whoever they think is going to win.
I think they hedge their bets. I think
totally
they play both
do.
sides.
Oh, they totally do at
You
the
know what I
beginning.
mean?
I think
It's a
they
good
give-
investment either
they
way.
Give to both. They give to both primary campaigns, or whatever, and then probably or something. They see who's going to win, and then they or who looks like they're going to win. I'm sure there's some ideology there too. They agree with the programs of one person, they'll give to him more. But
Well, the way I understand it, the way it was explained to me is that these guys just kind of walk into your office, as you know, a legislator, and they just slap a briefcase down. Yeah, or maybe not literally, but I have $10 million. I can use this to help you or to hurt you.
right.
What do you want?
I'm sure that happens.
Right. What can
It's
what can I do
also-
for you, sir?
Well, imagine if you needed that money. Like, what if you were like, "Nah, I'm good," because I know there's a couple of millionaires who already like what I do, and they've already given me money.
Right, I'm sure
You know,
there is some hesitation
and
on
then you
some
wouldn't
parts,
have
but I mean,
to-
if you're talking about a young candidate that's trying to push their way into the scene,
Right.
they're going to take every dime
Well,
they
the
can get.
scene we need to deconstruct, and you can do that by having term limits, because then you wouldn't be there for 20 years to craft a scene. People would be changing too fast, you know.
Right. Just
It
so
would
they
help
can
cut that
sit
down.
for 3-4 terms,
Right.
in their seat, and then
There's-
go and be a lobbyist, once they've made enough friends.
It's important to remember that there's a social scene in Washington, and social scenes do affect the way people think and their actions. Like, it definitely affects the legislature and the way laws are made. The
Lobbyists.
culture of Washington, yes.
Fucking
Yes.
lobbyists.
They're a part of that culture too. They're at those parties. the
I'm
lobby.
so
But you
sick
could.
of this.
The lobbyists would still be there, but you could cut down the candidate having to go and fundraise, because now candidates spend most of their time fundraising.
This gets me back to the big question is,
All right.
how do you change it? Because the First Amendment is what these guys are standing behind.
So you want to amend
They have the
Constitution.
same rights that we do to petition their government and to speak freely,
Right.
and to spend their money however they want.
The bastards.
Yeah, I know, and I just don't see a way to stop it.
That's why I'm saying
Somebody help
That's
us
a-
out there. I
that's
mean,
what I'm
this is
saying.
the
No, it's
greatest
a-
thing we could change in this
because
country.
that's the thing, because this change affects the culture and the way things would happen, but it doesn't affect the politician from being able to get a shit ton of money to help him run, and that's all they really care about. And if we make it easier for them, they're going to want to pass this law.
And that's why I come back to the podcast kind of a website, where these guys, they don't need. Instead, we just kind of shape it. It kind of goes the way of vote with your or you support things with your dollars. You know what I mean?
Right.
Shop certain places.
Yeah.
You boycott other places.
Vote with your feet, kind of thing. You
Exactly.
move to a place that's
People
more-
vote. We can control the system if you actually socially got everybody moving towards this one kind of a method. Where what? If I don't hear from this website, I don't believe it.
Right. But that's kind of the opposite.
But it has to be open and transparent. That nice little word
Right,
you were
but that's
searching for.
like the whole point of the internet.
Transparency.
Like, you shouldn't just go to one, you should go everywhere, because the internet too itself is corruptible. Like, remember that's weird. I was going to say, remember the early days? Like, Wikipedia used to be wicked unreliable, to borrow
yeah.
Boston phrasing, but now it's like reputable because there are enough people. It's the open source idea, because the majority of people went out and helped regulate it, because it's just users getting on there, and there's some like pro historians or whatever, I'm sure, that are involved in editing.
Yeah, no,
it.
they were just anybody could write in whatever they want on Wikipedia.
Right. But that way, at
But
first,
it
that
wouldn't
leads
be
to
like
a
that.
lot
Well,
of
I
problems.
mean, it kind of would be like that. I mean, you
That's
could
how it
say
was at
as
first.
a candidate, but the candidates have their registration, their login.
Yeah, but then someone's controlling that website.
Yeah, and if it's online, if it's on a computer, it's all corruptible.
Well, and let's be clear here. You're talking about just creating this website. You're not talking about taking away any of the other stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
So there'd still be the TV
and
ads.
it's the only way you could do it because you can't make it illegal.
Right, okay.
You know what I mean?
I'm totally
But so
behind that.
you would have to make it as this organic thing that is generated by the society, to where that we all start moving
Right.
this one way because we're tired of this.
I think
What
you
we've
can.
got right now.
Well, we already regulate ads and stuff, like who can
Not
buy
really.
and pay for.
No, we
I
don't.
think.
Super PACs generally have just endless amounts of cash. There are a bunch
Yeah.
of a union of companies where they are all behind this one guy or
Well,
another
it's not
guy.
even companies.
and
It's
that's just general
money,
elections. but-
groupings of money, people's money, names.
Well, yeah, they finance a
Uh,
certain political party because they've already bought and sold these people.
Yeah, probably.
You don't think they sit down to the super PACs before they just go and randomly start throwing this fucking money out?
Yes.
They sit down with these guys and be like, look,
Wait,
we're going to do this for you. In 2 years, we have a
the
fracking deal that needs to go through in
The
Ohio.
only problem with that...
You better make sure this fucking happens. Otherwise, your next term is done for.
The only problem with that theory is that there were candidates before there were super PACs, and those same candidates are beneficiaries of the super PACs. So there's no question of chicken before the egg. The candidate was there. And then the super PAC was created. Like, I think people flip that money trail backwards too often. The candidates...
That's all you got to do, man,
Once you're powerful enough, everyone wants to give you money. So you're not really beholden.
Always follow the money.
Yes, but don't you see what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter who they get it from. So they're not necessarily beholden to whoever gives it money. They come up to that business and say, I can get it from them. What are you going to give me?
And they'll just try and give them more money.
It's the politicians that are extorting the companies, not the other way around. Once the politicians...
Oh, this is a free market example right here. I mean, it's all up for grabs.
I'm not saying it's good. It's just I think it's more the candidates once they're powerful enough. Mind you, once they're powerful enough.
Trying to point the finger at one side or the other when I think it's more of a marriage of the two.
Yeah, there's some of both going on.
They feed off of each other.
Yeah, there's certainly brand new candidates who are bought and sold. Some powerful political interests.
And once you're in,
like the Koch brothers, I'm sure will find some young uprising candidate who they think either they believe in or they think is easily, malleable, and they'll just be like, here's some talking points, here's some money, go run. That definitely happens. Yeah. But there's also like Chuck Rangel, Charlie Rangel, Chuck Schumer, the powerful people, and, I don't know, John Boehner, whoever. I had said two Democrats, I just wanted to say some Republicans too. People from both parties who are powerful and like institutions in the Senate, they can push anybody around they want to because they're like, what are you going to do? I'll fucking create some regulation that'll cripple your fucking company. Or
I'll get people
I'll fuck you over in my state where you want to do whatever.
Again, though, I think that they are always kept in check by the party politics. And hey, if it's something that the other guys like, say these big money backers, they can go to all that guy's friends, and be like, look, do you want your seat next year? Don't go along with this guy.
Yeah, I'm saying party politics trumps money interests.
Not necessarily.
Sometimes they're the same thing, but the party is more important than the money.
The party is driven by the money.
Yes, to some degree. But there's definitely ideologically driven people in those parties, and that does drive the party generally. And they don't last too
fucking long.
No, they can be institutions. Like Harry Reid and Nancy Pelosi, they haven't been around long. And they're very ideological, I would say. People say the same about
they sway all
stalwarts
the time.
in the Republican Party too. Like, there definitely are people out there, and there's definitely an ideological lead to the parties. There's definitely some money interests there, and the money will buy little favors here that don't really affect like a policy position, like land grant or whatever. That's not like a policy position.
There's a fantastic...
That's like a favor thrown out. They throw out
analogy
favors,
I heard,
but I think it goes the other way around.
Politicians, and you want to really get into it, with politicians, whether or not they drive anything or not. Politicians are, everybody likes to think of them as shepherds. If you want to think about, the flock or the herd, think about a herd of cattle. If that, a bunch of guys that are, supposedly driving cattle, you know what I mean? If that herd turns to the right, they're not moving that fucking herd. They're just following the herd, and they're kind of moving that way. You know what I mean? Politicians are like that. They follow the herd, not the other way around.
That's funny. People do view it that way. They're electing leaders who make a big deal out of it, but that's totally not the way it's supposed to be at all. They're supposed to be representatives of us. They're supposed to be actors. They're not supposed to lead us. They're supposed to do what we say, not the other way around.
Right. You work for me.
Yeah, you're representing me. You're not ruling me.
Yeah,
the president.
And 300 million other people pay your salary.
Yeah.
Do you guys know what the word politics means? When you break it up, what it means? Like literally, like the literal meaning of
multiple.
Poly's multiple, and ticks blood sucking.
No, nice.
I'm not kidding.
You totally.
I'm not kidding. I just looked that up on the book.
Did you really?
Yeah,
do
yeah,
one.
I was like, I've been waiting to say it.
Dictionary
the Latin
and
etymology.
nice.
of
I
it.
was
That's
like-
cool.
Yeah,
to go, baby.
Yeah.
Nice.
Mini blood sucking.
I knew we brought
Basically.
you in on this for a reason.
Yay!
Makes
Fucking
sense, though.
many blood sucking.
We're gonna
ticks.
now.
Yes.
Now that we've gotten you interested, we're gonna bring you over here, and we're gonna like pull every political instinct out of you. We're gonna ask you like a political questionnaire or something.
She could be our like executive producer, looking stuff up in the background.
All right.
Yeah,
Right.
we need one.
I want to
I
use
do.
her as
Doing
our
Like, I try to do
guinea
it over
pig
here,
and,
but it's like
see
I'm
what
trying to
she
stay in the
feels
conversation.
about general
I think I could help add to it. You guys need to
Right,
do it too.
right.
policy issues or whatever.
We're
'Cause
you know we
guys
get it
talk
you know
about
talking
stuff I don't
and
really
shit.
know anything about all the time.
Yeah, we need a red band.
Yeah, sorry, baby.
You know?
We need to
Get
have
Becky
a
to do
guest
it,
on
too.
and have them come prepared with their own topic.
We definitely need some guests. My
They'll
dad was
talk
mentioning
about-
that we need experts.
Yeah.
You know, somebody to actually back up our bullshit conjecture
Or
with
yeah,
facts.
or someone to drop some knowledge on us, and then we can talk
right,
about
right.
what
I
we
would
just
actually like
heard
this
or
to
whatever.
be educational. You know,
So let's go get one of our drunken buddies
enough of this bar talk.
to
Goddamn.
say some stuff, and then we'll talk about that stuff.
Bill Burr has that funny ass
Yeah,
bit, or it's just like a regular line he pulls when he's shooting the shit on his podcast.
Fuck
Yeah.
that bar shit.
No, he's
Oh, enough of that bar shit.
he'll like start saying something. You know, it sounds like official and deep, and he's like, "Yeah, no, I heard this in a bar once."
Bro. Heard this in a bar. Yeah, it just sounds good, doesn't it? I'm pretty good at pulling stuff right out of my bum.
Right out of the boom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just actually had a realization that I have this tremendous
Too much
hippocampus.
stuff in your bum.
Oh, that too.
Sorry.
I have this, tremendous hippocampus, but the processor isn't that good.
Why do you have a
Is it-
campus for hippos?
Campus for hippos? Because that's one of the members.
God, why am I making horrible pun jokes?
You douche.
The other one wasn't even a pun. It was just a poop. Or
How do you
butt.
expect this podcast to go
It was
anywhere
a
when
butt
you're
joke.
throwing
It was
out
a-
that kind of
I
garbage?
I made a anal play joke. Sorry, everyone. Sorry, Mom.
God damn it. Anyway,
I'm sure Mom's not listening.
yeah. I have a million facts, but I just don't retrieve them well.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. That's why we need to do some research for our next one. We need to pick some solid topics. and-
Right.
Okay, now we're talking about what to do the next time. Sorry, everyone.
We can
Here,
cut
let's
this part
call
out.
it. Let's pronounce it
I
dead.
cut this bitch out.
Time of death.
Time of death, 52 minutes.
Oh. Too long. Cut it by
Too
an
long?
hour. No, that's fine. We'll cut it at half an hour, like we should have. No, we'll just put
No.
this whole thing up.
Exactly. If you're
Sorry.
turned off by 50 fucking minutes of people talking about something fun, shit.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think we got fun until like 10, 15 minutes in. I don't even remember what we... Oh, we started talking about
I thought it was
Supreme
fun.
Court.
I
That was
had
random.
fun. Did
It
you
was
have
good.
fun?
I enjoyed myself thoroughly. Did you have fun, Justus?
All right.
Yes, I did.
Anywho, that's all we got for you this week, folks. We're cutting it down shorter a little bit to make it a little more palpable for you,
Uh-huh.
you podcast virgins out there. Hope you enjoyed it, but hey, as we said earlier, we're 28.
We're silly.
I'm still a kid. Like that's what I'm coming to realize.
I'm
lately
not.
is
I'm
no,
a man.
I'm a man. Yeah, it's funny how I thought that back when I was 21 too. Looking
I'm
back
a
at me when
man.
I was 21,
I have a
was
penis.
fucking idiot.
I am a man.
And that's what I've come to realize.
True,
I
you
mean,
know.
I know we were kind of trying to wrap it up there, but that is a fun little extra point I want to add on is that, God, it's like I thought I was grown up until I
right.
started opening my ears and like actually listening around it. And you're not an adult when you're 18.
Mm-mm.
Not even close. You are still a kid when you're like mid-20s. You're
Right.
still figuring shit out.
You're
like,
adult enough to be charged. I'm fine with 18.
even
being, like, the
going
legal
into your
age of
30s, you're
adulthood,
just now becoming somewhat of an adult.
but- yeah.
And starting to put the pieces together.
Well, part of that too is our society. I mean,
And not everybody.
Yeah,
There are
they're
some
better.
people that are ahead of their class, but
it's easy to be childish until
Most
you're 30
people-
in our society because we have
Yeah.
easy lives. We don't have
Back
to
in
be
the
out
day-
there.
Back in the day, you had a family.
Yeah, that's what I
and
was
a
gonna say.
job and everything, land and everything by the time you were 16.
Yeah.
You know?
I was gonna say, yeah, we probably would have had kids, and we'd be out there in the world trying to support our family. That
And
would
they
have made
were
us.
winging it, man.
Yeah.
I'm still
Well,
telling
yeah, but
you,
it would have
like,
made us grow up real fast because you learn a lot
this is a
of.
good point.
Part
but,
of
I mean,
being an adult or an acting adult-like is having learned enough lessons from life to be sad. You have to lose the
as
joy for
bitch,
life,
The older you get, the sadder you get.
and then you're an adult.
Every little piece of this jigsaw puzzle we keep adding to is like, oh man,
Mhm.
I really don't like this picture at all.
Well, I finally figured it out. Life sucks.
Oh, it's not that bad a picture.
Bum, bum,
Wait, hey,
ba-dum.
I'm gonna paint this jigsaw puzzle as it goes.
It's an
Are you
interesting
going
way.
to be? All right, here are parting thoughts. Are you going to be a product of your society, or is your society going to be a product of you?
Ew.
And that's something to leave you with.
Both.
But hey, what the hell do we know? We're a couple of nobodies. Peace out.
Yeah. Applesauce.